Now for more on the summit, let's bring in our correspondent Jack Barton in Brussels. Jack, David Cameron has laid out a series of reforms that will allow him to campaign for the UK to stay in the EU. Talk to us about these reforms. I believe there will be no easy task for the EU to perform.
No, it's not going to be an easy task, that's for sure. And that's why the EU leaders are arriving at this summit today, really for the first time, with an absolute army of lawyers to sift through the details and to see what is really legally achievable or not. The fundamental core of what David Cameron is asking for is for the European Union to stop its mantra of ever greater enlargement of size and power. He wants that to stop, and he wants the European Union to consolidate what it's already got and in fact strip back some of that bureaucracy, handing some of the powers back to the member states. Particularly when it comes to countries like Britain, which are not in the euro area. They want the right to be able to keep their currency beyond just an opt-out, because at the moment most countries are expected at some point to join the euro. So not only to keep their own currency, but to also have some power of veto over the decisions made by the 19 euro area members, particularly when it comes to bailouts, which Britain had to pay into, even though it's not in the euro. Most of that is mostly agreeable to most European leaders. Spain and France have some reservations, but they're not insurmountable. The only real stumbling block at the moment seems to be the idea of curbing welfare payments for 4 years. At the moment, all EU citizens can travel anywhere they want in the European Union to work and to also receive benefits of that country. But Britain wants to, they don't mind them coming to work, but they want to curb the benefits. And there are 4 Eastern European countries that are very much opposed to that. That's the only real stumbling block. If that can be overcome, if those countries can agree to this or a compromise can be reached, we're probably going to hear the announcement of the referendum sometime in the next 48 hours.
Jack, another big part of the agenda is, of course, the refugee crisis. How has the crisis affected the EU, and what kind of possible way out are the leaders looking at?
It's had an enormous impact in a number of ways, many of them unexpected. One of the big challenges has been to the Schengen open border area, to which most EU countries are a part of, and that's there's no passport controls, there's no customs, it's the free movement of people across the borders. And what we've seen is half a dozen countries throwing up temporary border controls, and now Greece being given a warning that if it does not secure its external borders within the next 3 months, it might be temporarily locked out of Schengen, and we could see other countries putting in controls that could last for up to 2 years, perhaps longer. And that will have a huge economic impact on the bloc. Already it's said to be costing billions of euros in wasted time as trucks get stuck at the border there and trade is hampered. But there's no big new solutions on the table. In fact, the quota idea, some countries are still pushing for an expansion of settlement quotas, but German Chancellor Angela Merkel called that a laughable idea, given that more than 1 million refugees made it to Europe last year, and the current quota system only accounts for about 160,000 people, and barely any of those, it's down to the hundreds, have actually been rehoused. So what they're looking for at this meeting is to come up with a strategy in which Europe can work much more closely with Turkey, through which most of the refugees, many of them coming from Syria, are traveling on their way to the European Union. So that's really the strategy at the moment, but there are big new ideas on the table.
CCTV's Jack Barton live for us in Brussels. Jack, thank you.